10 are the different type of visas that we're going to talk about today. In this video, this is the series where we are talking about my 8 years journey in Germany. Alright, did you know that Germany has recently introduced a new kind of visa which is called the Opportunity Card, starting from 1st of June 2024. We're going to cover that visa as well. And if you're somebody like me who has a low CGPA, don't worry, there are other opportunities that you can actually use even for the student visa to come here in Germany. If you are somebody who's already in Germany and want to know more details about the visas that you need in the later stages of your German journey, then skip the first part and you can actually go to the last part and cover those areas. The good thing about the Opportunity Card is that even if you don't have the job or any admission offer, you can still come to Germany using that Opportunity Card. Okay, starting off with the student visa. So this is a visa where you need to secure an admission in any of the universities in Germany, and once you have that letter, then you can apply for this visa. You can go to your local embassy or any consultation firm where you can actually use their services to get this visa. This is a visa that requires a bit of more capital, like you need to block around 11k to 13k of euro in your block account. That is for your 1 year or 2 year of stay in Germany, so that you can focus on your studies and you're not like running after doing different jobs. Though it is easier to get some odd jobs, or you're allowed to do 20 hours of job in a week, and that can easily be used if the financial constraint is something that you're worried about. My one advice would be that make sure you actually apply for a proper company where you can work in your relevant field, or maybe a startup where you can even work on an irrelevant field, but then your chances of getting hired in that company would really increase. So I really advise on doing that. Since I myself had low CGPA, there are a few things that you can actually do to enable yourself for getting an admission. My university was not a very top-notch one, so what I basically did, and you also definitely need that, is at least 2 to 3 years of experience. You need to work in the relevant field that you're applying for, and you need to have different kind of certifications. Like it could be extracurricular activities that you have done, all those certifications, so that they know that you are somebody who's quite engaging, who's going to excel in their university, despite the fact that your CGPA is a bit low. One thing I also did good was that I got 3 recommendation letters. 2 of them were for my job, and 1 was from the professor where I did my bachelor's. So I also recommend to write very strong recommendation letters, and if it's coming from your experience as well, then spot on, because Germans usually encourage a lot in that area, that if you already have experience and you're doing well and you are excelling in that, then that's a big plus point for you. In case if you do need to apply for a job and you have financial issues, I would recommend going for a city where you can find a lot of odd jobs, or you have a lot of startup companies like Berlin, so that you can actually apply for those companies and work there. One thing that I would also suggest would be to start learning the German language as soon as you decide that you need to go to Germany, because this process can take a while. It took me like 1 year. Nowadays, some people are even taking like 2 years to complete the whole process of getting an admission and acquiring the student visa. So you have plenty of time. I would say start learning German language, because this is one thing that will not also help you in getting different odd jobs, but this is something long term. We will see later on why this is so important to have this language skill. The second type of visa that we will cover is the family reunion visa. If your dream is to live in Germany or Europe, and you're lucky enough to find a partner who already is working there, even if it's a student visa that your partner is actually having right now, you can still apply for this family reunion visa. This is also a preferred way, reason being the capital involved over here is not that big. So you don't need to have a block account or anything. All you need is money for your tickets, a proper accommodation. Of course, there needs to be proper size of the apartment that your partner have to let you come here. And at the end, you also would be needing, of course, a very steady income from your partner point of view. If all of these things are qualifying, then you can apply for the family reunion visa. If your partner has a blue card, you don't even need to learn the A1 level language. It becomes easier for you to go to Germany, but I would still strongly recommend that do learn the language as much as you can. If you start off learning the language in your home country, in your mother language, your basis would be a lot more stronger, and this really helps you in the long term also in learning the language itself. But the most preferred way would be the job visa. So with a job visa, what it means is that you already have a job offer in Germany, and your company is basically going to sponsor the visa, the accommodation in a way that initially they provide you a capital where you can buy the ticket. They can also offer you working a bit in a hybrid environment where you can already start working from your home country, save a bit of money, and then get your tickets and visa expenses and accommodation, all of that. The company will also help you in finding the accommodation too. So this is the, of course, most preferred way. But nowadays it is a bit tricky because there has been a lot of layoffs in the market, also from big companies like Google, Meta, Tesla. So if you are trying to get a job right now, don't get disappointed. Let this dry period go away, and then you can use this opportunity to come to Germany as well. I know even in my company there were people who were picked directly from India and Pakistan and some other countries as well, like Argentina or Chile or other countries, that the company do pick them up and that they can also come to Germany. This is definitely the most preferred way, I would say. I would recommend to start looking for a job on LinkedIn. There are a lot of opportunities sitting over there. One also advice would be that if you are a fresher, don't bother applying for this, because of course they need somebody who is 3 to 5 years of experience, a lot of good recommendations, and you need to be highly skilled, because you also need to understand their point of view that they will spend a lot of money and they're taking a lot of even some legal risk to bring you to the country, and it has to be worth it. And it will only be worth it if you have the right skills and the right experience, and this is very important. So make sure that you have the right years of experience for that job. Now to also talk about the opportunity card that I mentioned before. This is a new type of visa that you can have, and what it basically does is it gives you 1 year to come to Germany and explore and then get a job, and you can then convert to a resident permit once you have your job itself. It is again going to be a bit tricky. I would also suggest that you need at least some kind of interviews lined up so that you can validate that your skills and your experience are being well recognized and they're worth it. Because at the end, if you go there and you're not able to find a job, because the job market is not the best right now in Germany, and if you struggle in that perspective, I think you will lose a lot of capital, because of course you need some money. For example, you would need to block 1,000 euros for each month that you're going to live in Germany. So that would be around, again, 12k of euros that you have to block yourself. You also need to have like proper qualification and skills that are required in Germany. So make sure that you do that. Also, one advice would be to get to a C1 level of the German language, because this will enable you in getting a lot of jobs in Germany. A lot of jobs require this language skill, and if you already have that, then it's really worth getting the opportunity card. But for that, make sure that you already have done the C1 level in your home country while you go for this option. This is also a preferred option for companies because they no longer have to spend a lot of capital to actually bring you to Germany. Since you're already there, they will prefer you versus somebody who is sitting at home in their home country. So this is a good opportunity for you if you have a lot of capital and if you are already on the way of learning good German language skills. To get to a C1 level, you need at least 1 to 2 years of dedicated learning, depending on how many other languages you speak. If you are a bit familiar with the kind of syntax German has or different kind of grammar, then it can help you a bit, and also how quick of a learner you are. So depending on that, if you want to wear this, you need to keep in mind you need 1 to 2 years to actually learn this. For this opportunity card, you will need a university degree and 2 years of training for skilled, or you don't need to speak German if you're speaking good in terms of English. But if your degree is not recognized in Germany, then you will have to apply via point base. and the categories would include your experience that you have, the languages you speak, the age, and also if you're applying with your spouse or not. It needs at least 6 points to qualify. You also allowed to work doing odd jobs, means 20 hours per week for this visa, and you can also do a test run for 2 weeks in any company in terms of any job. Now that you're here, you need to convert your temporary visa to a resident permit. So the initial visa, despite or irrespective of whatever way you actually applied for, it will be around for 30 to 90 days. But once you are here, you need to, as soon as possible, change to the residence permit, and that would be for a few years where you can complete your education, or you can get few years of experience in work. So that's the very first step you do once you are here, and that's the very first visa that you can receive in Germany. In case you're earning more than a set threshold of income annually, which is around 45,000 euros right now, you can get a blue card. This threshold keeps on changing depending on how the German government want to make the law or the threshold, but it will stay around this. And with this, what are the benefits and why we need to apply for a blue card? Well, there are a couple of benefits. Number one, your spouse, if they're joining you, it makes it easier for them to get the visa, and they don't have to learn the initial German language as well. So if you plan to have a few years of stay in Germany, then maybe you don't want to learn the German language, and this is where it can benefit you. It will not be a visa on your passport, but it will be a separate card, which can be also very helpful and very handy. One thing is also that with blue card, you can stay outside of Germany for 1 year, and you can still have your blue card valid. Getting a blue card is also a shortcut to getting a permanent residency. So if you have a blue card and you're maintaining your job for 33 months, then you qualify for getting a permanent residence. And if you already have the B1 level of German language, then after 21 months of having the blue card and your job, you can apply for the permanent residency. With a blue card, you can get a bit limited in terms of the area of work in your company, because you cannot make shift to another area of work, or you cannot do a sudden change from your company as well. But after a while, which is around 1 year to 2 years, then you also have the freedom to move around in different companies as well. Once you get into the permanent residency stage, your life becomes a bit more easier, because it is more easier to maintain the PR. You have to, or you can actually go to your local government office and get it renewed from there. The validity of the visa itself is unlimited unless you leave Germany, and also the validity of the card itself depends on your passport expiry date. So one pro tip would be that when you apply for your PR, make sure that your passport is recently renewed, but if you do that, your expiry of the card itself will get extended because it will get matched with the passport itself. With PR, you can stay outside of Germany for maximum up to 6 months, and your PR will still be maintained. And if previously you had a blue card, then you can stay for up to 1 year outside of Germany, and you still have a valid visa to come back to Germany and start working or whatever you want to do. The PR also enables you to have different opportunities like owning a property. It is much more easier once you have a PR, where you can go to a bank and then say, okay, I need to buy a house or an apartment. I will do the initial installments, and then next 15 to 20 years you can keep on giving the monthly installments and own the property at the end. Makes it more easier for you with the PR. When another pro tip would be that if you're planning to stay in Germany for a longer time, instead of wasting the rent, the property that you will have, I would say get a house where you can actually give installments for many years that you're going to live in Germany, and then own the property at the end. For getting a PR, you will also need a A1 language certificate. Now I think it's changed to even B1. Initially, if you have spent many years in Germany, maybe they will not even ask you for the certificate, because they haven't asked me to submit any. Also make sure that if you're planning to stay outside of Germany for a while, keep your registration in Germany, because when you lose that, you can also most likely lose your permanent residency as well. So another type of residence permit that people mostly are not aware of is the European PR. If you already have the B1 level of the German language, then you can apply for the EU PR, which enables you to work anywhere in Europe. And without the blue card, it will allow you to stay outside the Germany for maximum 1 year. If you had the blue card before, this get extended to 2 years. And this becomes really handy later on in life, because you've already spent too many years in Germany by this time, and you might need to explore, or you have some personal issue that you need to look after in your home country, and this will be really helpful if you have this kind of freedom there. For 2 years you can stay outside of Germany, so do consider that as well. Another type of work permit that can be quite interesting in later on in life would be the freelancer visa. So if you have the legal status of living in Germany, then you're eligible for the freelance visa as well. What it basically does is that it gives you the freedom to choose time and the place that you want to work in. This is considered the new rich according to the 4 Hours Work Week book by Tim Ferriss, which I totally agree with. The main difference is that you will get a different tax ID from your tax office once you move to a freelancer visa, and they will decide, depending on what kind of services you're providing, that if you get a business ID or you're going to get a personal freelance ID. This process is actually quite complicated, so I will highly advise to get a tax advisor, a consultant, which can do all the paperwork for you so that you can focus on your freelance work. Last but the most awaited one is getting the German passport. This gives you the ultimate freedom that you need. You can stay outside of Germany as long as you want, and you can always come back if you feel like working there or establishing any other kind of a work or business. You also most likely get access to more countries to travel. Your ability to work in different countries also increases. So overall, this opens up a lot of opportunities for you. And if getting a second passport is your goal, then I will highly recommend getting the C1 language certificate beforehand, because with C1 language and the new rules, you can actually get citizenship in 3 years in Germany. Again, this is not an easy process to get the C1 language, so it needs 1 to 2 years itself to learn it, but you need to be very dedicated in doing that. So have your goal set in mind, what you really want and why are you actually coming to Germany. Otherwise, with the new rules, the number of years you need to get a German passport is reduced from 8 years to 5 years. And if you have the B1 language certificate, you can then apply for the German passport within 5 years. I would recommend that if getting a second passport is your priority, then register yourself, or in the last days when you're going to apply for the passport, consider moving to a smaller city or town, because the process would be a lot quicker there versus, for example, Berlin, where the process is taking unfamiliar timeline. But recently they have also shifted their system online, and I've heard people getting their passport in 2 to 3 months, but all of those cases were the ones where they had C1 certification, because the more integrated you are in Germany, the more chances you get to get your passport quickly. Even things like helping refugees or doing volunteer work, getting a driving license, is considered as getting yourself integrated into German society. So all the things, when you send your application, do send these things as well, because this will help you make your case and get your passport quickly. Alright, that's the whole list. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions around any of the visa status that we have discussed today. Personally, I had a great experience while going through all these visas while I was staying in Germany for now more than 8 years. One thing that you need to know is a bit of German language, because people will be quite helpful in understanding you in English, but there would be some sort of communication in German language, so please do learn that. Another pro tip would be that make sure all your documents are complete. Even pick some extra documents that can eventually help you in getting and securing your visa. One thing that I would always do is bring all the documents, and whenever I see my number on the screen, I will go to the room, I will organize all my documents and put them separately and explain to the officer what are they, so they can just simply pick whatever they need and just give back whatever they don't need. And with that process, the communication is also not that much. So if you're not speaking a lot of German language, you can just go and explain what documents you have, give it to them, and they will do the rest of the work for you. To conclude this up, be aware what you really want, what you really need to have when you come to Germany. So choose wisely from all these options that we have discussed. The one point I will emphasize on would be learning the German language. In any case, at whatever stage, this is really going to help you if you want to go to Germany. This is indeed a very long and tedious process. So make sure that if you're getting burned out, you acknowledge that, because the signs can easily be missed and can be ignored. But in the end, if your mental and physical health is not good, none of this is going to matter. So in this long journey, make sure that you're taking proper rest. You have your friends and family and good support from all around. Make sure that you have that. This is exactly why in the next video, I'm going to discuss about my personal burnout, why I took 6 months of leave right now to actually unburn myself, and what are different types of burnout, so that you can also identify them if you get the signs. I will post a video somewhere here as soon as I have it ready. If this video was of any help to you, then please do consider clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel, because this gives me a lot of encouragement to keep on going and putting on the content on YouTube. By liking and subscribing, you will also enable this video to reach a bigger audience and help others by getting to know about this information. Cheers. कौन सा है? ठीक है ना यार, what's the problem?